Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So do you own or you plan on owning a Sig P320? Well, if so, you might want to pay attention to this video because it looks like Sig Sauer and the P320 are back in the news. Let's talk about it. Now, real quick before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, check out the main sponsor of this channel. I'll have a link to them down below, and that is the USCCA. With your USCCA membership, you get things like self-defense liability insurance. You get online education. You get training and how to respond to certain situations. There's reciprocity maps and a lot more. So definitely check out the sponsor of this channel, USCCA. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with the P320. And the P320 seems to make the news just about every single year for something that's not usually very good. The P320 is a very popular pistol. It was adopted by the military. It's the M17 or the M18. I own several different versions myself, from custom to custom works to standard 320s. I own the M17, the M18, and I want to just say in the very beginning that I have not had a single issue with any of mine. However, there are noted issues that go back quite a while now with the 320. As a matter of fact, there was a voluntary recall back in either 2017 or 2018, I believe, and that voluntary recall was to deal with certain issues, or the gun was basically going off when it shouldn't. Now, we're not talking about negligent discharges here. We're talking about unintentional discharges. So when you're talking about negligent discharge, it means that you were negligent in some way that caused the gun to go off. If you're talking about unintentional, it means that it was just totally, you were not engaged with it whatsoever and it still went off. So there was nothing negligent on your behalf that caused it to go off, and that's exactly what we have here, where the Milwaukee Police Department is actually now suing the city of Milwaukee for issuing P320s to their department, where now 2 officers have been injured in 3 separate instances where holstered P320s have gone off. Okay, these are holstered, they're not in use at the time, and they've gone off. One of them actually struck another officer in the leg while it went off in somebody else's holster. So this is a pretty big lawsuit where the Milwaukee Police Department is asking for quite a bit, including completely scrapping the 320 altogether and replacing the department's duty sidearms. Now, try and keep in mind that I haven't seen any direct evidence of this actually happening in Milwaukee. I haven't seen any video, I haven't seen any photographs or anything like that. I'm going off of multiple online reports from reputable sources, and also statements from the police officers union that state that this is what happened. So right now what we have is somebody stating that while it was in a holster, it discharged without any input from the user whatsoever. But this kind of goes along with hundreds of other reports that have been reported over the years. Now, what happened in Milwaukee with these 3 incidents happened over a 2-year period. But one of the arguments that the police department is saying is that while the city of Milwaukee issued these back in 2019, that during their training, the officers that were issued these were never given the heads up that these have had issues of going off unintentionally in the past, and they were never trained on that, not like you really could be trained on it, but they're saying that it put the officers and the public at danger by training these officers with something that they, at the time, should have known were unsafe. So the Milwaukee Police Department is saying that because of these instances in the past, and again, they're claiming that there have been hundreds, that the city should have known prior to issuing these to officers that training should have either been included or they should have went with something else altogether. Now, in my opinion, and that's all it is just my opinion, I think that after reporting on these incidents throughout the years on this channel, I think that SIG needs to dedicate an entire team, and they may have one already, they may already be doing this, but they need to dedicate a team to take another look at the 320 and find out why these instances are actually happening across the country. If it turns out not to be their product, great. If it turns out to be their product, then that's something that they can fix. The big thing here is consumer confidence. If the consumer, the average person, loses confidence in your defensive product and they feel like they could be held liable for something that's not their fault, right? They have it holstered, it should be safe, everything should be fine. But, you know, they have that feeling that maybe it's not okay, and you lose confidence in the consumer, well then, you know, the market is going to move somewhere else. They're going to move away from your product. product. And then same goes for law enforcement and military contracts. If they lose confidence in that product and they feel that, you're just kind of pushing it away as it's not us, it's not us, it's not us, without actually doing enough research, then they're going to move away from the contracts too. And that's going to be a really big problem. I'm a fan of SIG. I have a lot of different SIGs, obviously. I love SIGs. But at the same time, when I hear stuff like this, it's worth not ignoring. It's worth taking the negative feedback that I know I'm going to get, because every single time I talk about one of these instances, you get all those people out there who, stand up for SIG and just defend them no matter what. They'll look past, all the information that's available out there and just get mad at you for it, which is fine. I'm simply reporting on what was said by the Milwaukee Police Department. I'm reporting on articles and lawsuits that have been brought up in the past. And so I'm just talking about things that already exist out there in the ether for you guys to find, but I'm bringing it all here to, one simple place. So this is, I think, another big issue for SIG. Obviously the private market, but then the contract market. If you lose confidence in either one of those, I think you're done. Now, I should also mention, as part of the lawsuit between the Milwaukee Police Department and the city of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Police Department is seeking compensation for those that were injured by these discharges. So there is a financial aspect to this, as well as the overall changing of the duty weapon that's issued to Milwaukee law enforcement. And so again, there's different aspects, different things at play here. And so taking the statements that you get from either side, I think, is really important. And I'm really interested to see what happens here and whether or not SIG responds with any more research into, why this is happening. Again, I'm curious to see where this goes, and if there's an update or we find any more information about what's going on with the 320, I will let you guys know, because again, you should be confident in what you have. If your 320 is what you're using to defend your home or defend your family, then you should have confidence in that as long as your finger's off it, nothing should happen. Everything should happen because of this. And if this is not on there, that trigger, then nothing else should happen. So I just wanted to bring that story to your attention. If you want more information, I'll put a link to the original story that I saw down below, and you guys can check that out as well. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.